I was disowned for not being beautiful enough. 15 years later I returned to my sister's baby dedication and burned every lie to the ground. My name is Violet, and for most of my life, my family treated me like an embarrassment they couldn't erase fast enough. My mother, Lorraine, believed beauty was currency, and my sister Edith was her prized investment. Edith had the face, the body, the soft voice that made people lean in. I had scars, crooked teeth from an accident as a child, and a quiet nature they called weakness. By the time I was 19, they stopped pretending. My mother told me I was ruining the family image. Edith said no man would ever choose me over her, and that was the day I was disowned. Not loudly, not dramatically, just cold silence and locked doors. I left with one suitcase, a student loan, and a promise to myself that I would never beg them again. The first years were brutal. I slept in my car, worked night shifts as a nursing aide, cried in public bathrooms when no one knew my name. But pain has a way of sharpening focus. I went back to school, survived on caffeine and stubbornness, and 15 years later, I became the founder of a private healthcare facility that specialized in long-term rehabilitation. I didn't become rich overnight, but I became respected, and more importantly, untouchable. The invitation arrived without apology. Edith was hosting a baby dedication at a lakeside chapel in Connecticut, and somehow, my name was written neatly on the envelope as if nothing had happened. I almost laughed. Curiosity won. I wanted to see what kind of woman my sister had become, and what kind of lies she had told to keep me erased. The chapel was full of soft music, pale florals, and people who looked like they had never been told no. Edith stood at the center glowing, her husband Martin beside her, tall, polished, and completely unaware that his wife had a sister she destroyed. My mother spotted me first. Her smile froze. Edith followed her gaze and nearly dropped the baby. No one approached me. They just watched, afraid I would speak. After the ceremony, Martin came over politely, extending his hand. He introduced himself, and I returned the gesture, then said calmly, "I'm Violet, Edith's older sister." The word sister hit the air like broken glass. Martin's smile faltered. He looked at Edith, then back at me, confused. Edith laughed too quickly, saying I was being dramatic, an estranged cousin at best. That's when I leaned in and said, "She used to lock me out of the house at night. She told our mother I was defective, and our mother agreed." People around us went quiet. Martin asked why he had never heard of me. I told him the truth gently, that I was disowned because I didn't fit their image, and that success only became acceptable when they thought they could benefit from it. I mentioned my healthcare facility casually, the awards, the partnerships, the donors in the room who suddenly recognized my name. Martin's face hardened, not at me, but at Edith. The reception was worse for them. Conversations shifted. People whispered. I didn't shout or accuse. I simply answered questions honestly. When someone asked why I never attended family holidays, I said because I was homeless for a while and no one checked. When someone asked why my mother never mentioned me, I said because I reminded her of what cruelty looks like when it grows old. That was when I met Elijah Parker, a man with observant eyes and a voice that carried weight without volume. He introduced himself as Martin's father-in-law's business partner, and said he knew my work in healthcare. We talked quietly, away from the noise, about ethics, leadership, and how betrayal often hides behind charm. He asked why I came back. I said closure, and maybe justice. He smiled like someone who understood both. The twist came faster than I expected. Elijah told me something he hadn't confirmed yet, that confidential information from Martin's firm had been leaking to a rival startup, and the trail led disturbingly close to Edith. I didn't say anything at first. I didn't need to. The truth was already tired of hiding. Before the night ended, Martin confronted Edith privately. I wasn't there, but the fallout echoed. Edith screamed. My mother tried to intervene. Guests left early. By morning, Martin had accessed the emails, the transfers, the messages to a man named Rowan, Edith's secret boyfriend, the one she fed privileged information to in exchange for promises of a bigger life. The revenge didn't come from me raising my voice. It came from consequences. Martin filed for separation and reported the breach. Edith lost her marriage, her social standing, and the future she curated so carefully. My mother called me crying, asking for forgiveness, asking if I could help, reminding me we were family. I told her family doesn't discard children like expired goods, and I hung up. Elijah later offered me a seat on a healthcare advisory board tied to investments Edith would have benefited from if she hadn't been exposed. I accepted without guilt. When my family tried to reconcile weeks later, suddenly proud of me, suddenly kind, I said no. I told them I survived without them, and I was not rebuilding bridges they set on fire. I left that chapter lighter. Not because they suffered, but because I no longer carried their shame. I walked away knowing the girl they broke built a life so strong it didn't need their approval, and that was the real revenge. Sometimes the people who hurt you the most are the ones who claim to love you. Blood does not excuse cruelty, and family does not have the right to break you because you don't fit their expectations. If someone only values you when they can benefit from you, they were never on your side to begin with. Silence can feel like weakness, but growth is often the loudest response. I didn't win by shouting, insulting, or seeking validation. I won by building a life so strong that the people who rejected me could no longer control the narrative. Success, dignity, and boundaries became my revenge. Never chase acceptance from those who taught you shame. Heal, grow, and let time expose the truth. When people show you who they are, believe them, and when they come back only because you are thriving, remember that reconciliation without accountability is just another form of manipulation. The real lesson is this: you don't owe access to anyone who once chose to abandon you. Sometimes walking away permanently is not bitterness, it is freedom. Please like, share and subscribe for more stories. Thank you.